Jesus Christ. And we're back!
We fucking did it.
Wake the fuck up. It's Thanksgiving episode.
It is. Oh, yes.
We're here with Hex Windham, and
yeah.
I've been excited about this. Kind of had a shitty day. I've been looking forward to this interview all day.
Yes,
Right,
yeah,
right on.
that's very true.
Yeah.
I've also had a shitty day, so
Nice. Same.
be happy to turn the tides here.
Yeah.
Hell
How you
yeah.
been?
I've been good. I've been busy.
Yeah.
Stuff's good at home. Family's good. Music stuff's good. Yeah, overall, definitely living a good life here. I think we all probably deal with, I don't know, what do you want to say? Stuff that we
Complexities.
stuff that we would rather not do from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jobs?
Regular
Yeah.
life shit. Just all the life shit.
Job stuff for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
But I do have a good job for sure.
Right.
I do like my job. But I'm a high school public school teacher. I teach English and I coach wrestling, cross country, and track. And
Nice.
Wow.
I knew you taught. I didn't know the grade.
Yeah.
Is high school like a choice? Did you do younger?
I have taught college level and I have
Okay,
taught
older than,
younger
yeah.
kids too. Yeah. I prefer high school. But I think a lot of people, we get into teaching because we like the subject matter and because we like kids, we like teaching kids, but then we end up having to file paperwork and
Right.
worry about data and stuff like that. The numbers need to look better. We got to make sure that the numbers go up by 1 point.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not why I think any of us got into it, but that ends up being what we have to do sometimes.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to ask about, I've seen you playing around New Orleans forever.
Right.
So when would you pretty much start playing locally?
Well, sure. I'm from here. I grew up in Metairie and started playing in, the punk bars in New Orleans when I was a teenager in the late 90s. And I just never stopped. I've lived in somewhere in the greater New Orleans area my whole life, except for a couple years after Katrina.
Right.
I had to go to Mississippi for a couple years after Katrina and then came back, and I've been just playing music since I was, 16. So yeah, a long time at this point.
Yeah. Right.
More than half my life. Yeah.
Mostly in bands, or did you do like whatever you could do, you were doing it?
Definitely, yeah. Punk bands for the most part. But
Right.
anytime if a band that I was in, if they couldn't make the gig, I would just still play the gig by myself.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And then anytime a band broke up, I would keep playing. Just play solo gigs.
Yes.
But yeah, most of my musical career has been more band oriented. Playing in punk bands. But yeah, for the last few years though, I've been strictly a solo artist.
Right.
Just playing solo acoustic gigs.
Has it always been the Americana with the solo more, this past couple of years, or did you kind of bleed into that?
Well, when I was younger and say my band couldn't show up, I would play acoustic.
Yeah.
But I would still show up with my 2 amps and I would just play the same songs, just really loud on an acoustic guitar.
Yes.
And overdriven too, so it was still distorted and whatnot. But yeah, last few years is really when I decided, I'm going to try to see if I can play slow and sing quiet.
Right.
Because I've been playing loud and playing fast and singing loud for decades, really. And I was like, can I do it?
Right.
Can I not sing loud? Can I sing quiet? Can I?
It's more of a challenge kind of thing for you. I
Yeah,
guess.
a little
Like to
bit.
see what this is. I like this stuff. I could do this, right?
I've been doing it long enough. I should be better than I am. I should be
That's
a better
literally
guitar
all of us
player
in this room right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I should be a better.
I think I've been on
singer.
the same level since I was 18.
Oh, yeah.
Playing
Yeah,
guitar.
yeah. Right.
I try to get better. I practice things I see on the internet, and I have new things to practice.
Right.
But I think overall, I still go to the same spots on the fretboard.
Oh
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that,
No,
pretty
I've
much.
gotten better with playing covers. When I write a song, though, it's it's pretty. It's going to be pretty much the same chord structures.
Sure. Well, I did learn how to do fingerstyle.
Right,
Which for almost all of my guitar playing career, I was flat pick strummer.
Right.
And I pretty much started writing songs by imitating the Ramones, but no one ever told me that Johnny Ramone only did downstrokes.
Right.
And I didn't know what power chords were because I taught myself how to play guitar
Right.
out of
So it's just all open chord G's and D's and shit.
And I was like, it doesn't sound the
This
same when I'm
doesn't
doing. Yeah.
Okay,
well,
yeah.
But but yeah, I always I was kind of intimidated by fingerstyle. I was
Right.
like, I don't think I'll be able to sing and play at the same time. There's too many
Right.
things going on. But I just committed to it and didn't go back. So it's been a few years at this point. I'm completely doing finger picking.
Nice.
Finger style. And so that is definitely a change from what I was doing maybe just a handful of years ago. Like when I first met y'all and, played with Bad Mood Lander, gigs like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a development that maybe is just the last few years.
I looked up that gig today to figure out what time that was. That was 2019 at Checkpoint Charlie's. And I would have swore that was like 2016, 2015.
I would have
something
definitely
like that.
figured later, a lot longer than that.
Yeah, back when, I was in Scarecrow Sonic Boombox, and I think we crossed paths maybe at gig in Slidell, I think, But yeah, that show, I was playing solo for that show, but I had a drummer.
Yeah,
and,
you had that cool mandolin guitar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing
if
that.
I remember correctly, that set I was
Nice.
playing all Cajun songs. I was playing all like revved up punk versions of Cajun songs.
I listened to some of your old stuff today, and I saw something you were doing. You were putting an ebow on a violin.
Nice.
And that is like, I'd never thought to do that before. It sounded cool as
Sure.
hell.
Yeah, for a while I was playing ebow maybe for most of the songs. At one point I was in they described themselves as psychedelic hip hop, but I think really they were more like a trip hop.
Okay.
The band was called Sea Battle, and I was just playing guitar. That's the only band that I've ever been in where I wasn't the singer and primary songwriter. I was just the guitar player, and I just kind of like committed to chilling and just droning out. And I played a lot of ebow and slide, so it was really silky smooth and drony, and a lot of like reverb and stuff like that. But I was playing a lot of noise shows as a solo artist too, and I would do different things. I would show up with a cassette player and a bunch of prepared cassettes that I made, and they were drone cassettes, different layers of things, and I would play it, and I would pop the tape out, throw the tape on the ground, pop the next tape in, play that.
Fuck.
Is that what you
That's
be like your drum machine and stuff like that?
Your sampler.
Or just mostly samples?
I used some samples. Like I had one piece where I took a Hall & Oates song where I played a 45 on 33, and then I got a loop out of that, and then that was the backing track, and then I did drones on top of that. Some I utilized a drum machine. One I took the drum beat from Hey Pocky Way, ran it through a reverb pedal, and then I cut this part, and because there was reverb, it was just basically like all the snare, and then that was the backing track for that, and I droned on top of that. But yeah, I was definitely highly involved in the New Orleans noise scene for a while there, and I liked I liked the immediacy of it. You could have an idea and then you could execute it pretty much immediately. You didn't really have to communicate with anybody else, and then you could literally cut it to tape as you were having the idea.
Right.
And then there's an audience for that. People want to listen to that.
Yeah.
So I found that aspect of it pretty fascinating and fell into it. After a while, honestly, it started to get kind of, no offense to anybody does it, it started to feel kind of samey.
Right,
a
a little monotonous on it.
Yeah, some stuff like, people, I don't know, like somebody doing push-ups on top of a piece of metal.
Right,
Like,
right, like how many fucking weird ideas do I have to come up for this shit?
I mean, that was interesting to watch for about 10 seconds. It's like, come on, like.
I haven't seen a show like that in a while, but we played the Intercoastal maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, and we were leaving. Somebody was like writhing on the ground with a VCR doing something. I'm like, oh god, I haven't seen this in a while.
It's been a while.
That was about as close as it got.
Yeah.
Noise is actually really big over there.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Homer.
that shit. Yeah, because that seems, especially Intercoastal, seems like a place you would go to see a bunch of bands like that. They got that vibe.
Yeah, that's a good scene. I played there with my acoustic act.
Yeah, we've done.
I guess last year.
Been up there a couple times. I think we've only been up there
once
as
with
the
Dead Spies. Yeah, for sure.
With the Morons, they were putting, or Corey was putting on a show. I don't think we actually played with them.
No, we didn't. I wanted to.
Yeah,
they sold us out.
Pulled the old Manhattan switch on us.
I thought you guys, no, us, no, not with you guys. Anyway. So back to you. I'm sorry about that. I listened to you a couple months ago. Sent me the Sunroom Sessions, and I first listened to it low, thinking this is going to be an album that I'm going to chill to or something like that. And I didn't realize until about 2 or 3 listens to it that it actually, I'd rather listen to this really loud. Because you get those finger pick, those
you're saying that's the percussive.
It's almost becomes more of a percussive thing. And I listen to songs like Coffin Bound. That's a punk song, man, for sure. That like that lead in and then the chords on it I was listening to, it was like, damn, like our band could fucking cover Coffin Bound.
Right.
It was, but
well, y'all have my permission. Just give me credit on the liner notes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We'll just write behind it. We'll just write the backing shit, and you just come through and sing on it.
All right, I'd be down.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think an acoustic guitar is designed to be a solo instrument. You know, it is a percussion instrument, especially. If you play it outside, you probably hear more of the percussion than you do the melody.
Right.
If you're playing it in a big space outside. I play with steel finger picks too.
Yeah.
Right.
Steel string guitar, steel finger picks, and that probably gives it another.
It does.
It does. Yeah. When we saw
I
it
don't-
at Saturn, it was a lot. I could tell a lot of that shit. You know, I don't know if that's what you were going for, but it felt like that. You know, it was like, this is a whole fucking sound.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
not just like the finger picks are there to make extra sound on this shit, you know.
Sure. Yeah, and then that amp has built-in tremolo too. And I think that maybe gives it some rhythm too.
Yeah.
Kind of a Bo Diddley thing.
Did you record the whole album live?
Yes.
Nice.
So I went to Baton Rouge to my friend Alex Cook's studio practice space. So
is that the Rakers guy?
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
all right, yeah.
So he's a good friend of mine,
Right.
and I've collaborated with him. He's one of the only people that I've played with these last few years.
Okay.
Like, when I do a show with him, he'll usually sit in with me on a accordion or a pedal steel or something like
Nice.
that. And then if I go to Baton Rouge, I'll play with one of his bands. But yeah, he's a great guy. He's a good friend of mine. But yeah, I went to his studio and recorded the whole thing in one morning, and vocals and guitar at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no overdubs.
Nice.
Everything just kind of immediate.
Yeah.
And even though, probably from a technical standpoint, there's probably flaws and things like that, but it is real.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I wanted it to sound like it sounds when I'm practicing in my back room. That's why it's the Sunroom Sessions.
Right.
Like I wrote all those songs in the back room, and that's where I practice.
Yeah.
Occasionally I will film videos of myself playing in the sunroom and put them on, Instagram or whatever. But yeah, I wanted it to sound like it sounds like when I'm playing my back room. So yeah, the live aspect of it was intentional.
Yeah. Well, I think it sounds great, man. I really do.
Yeah.
And I wanted to wait till you came here, really, just to go listen to it enough times to where I started knowing it.
Okay.
And
Appreciate you listening.
so I saw that you sent the Racetrack song off to Racetrack, and they sent you a care package.
right.
I should have worn the Racetrack hat. Yeah.
Fuck,
So
right. Yeah.
No, I like that you're sporting the. Is that for your
That's
school?
your team, huh?
yeah, this is
Yeah.
probably my favorite hat. Steve Williams actually designed the logo and
Ha!
whatnot.
Nice.
We get him to design our gear for both the wrestling team and the cross country team.
Nice. Okay.
Sweet, man.
Hell yeah.
It's a tie-in everywhere.
I know, right?
Yeah, no, he's a good friend of mine too. He's a great
Right.
guy. Shout out to
Oh,
Steve
yeah.
Williams. But yeah, I did an interview for WT Well,
Uh-huh.
and then I played that song. The DJ filmed the performance, and then she posted it and said, "Hey, Racetrack, Hex Windham
Okay.
wrote a song," and then they caught it and they put it on their Instagram, and they sent me a message. It's like, "Hey, we hear you like Racetrack. Send us your address and we'll get you a package."
Fuck, right?
And it was hat, coffee mug, gift card, and coupons for coffee.
Nice.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
so
Yeah.
they have treated me well, and then when I'm on the road, if I see a Racetrack, I stop in there, and sometimes they'll talk to me. I'll be wearing my Racetrack hat or whatever, and then I'll go viral again. I'll be on the Racetrack Instagram page again on their stories. But yeah, I do like some Racetrack coffee, and I find myself on the road both for gigs and for work,
school
like
shit.
wrestling tournaments out of town, cross country meets
Cross country
out of
for
town.
sure. Yeah, right.
Yeah. I'm on the road a lot.
Do you put yourself? Do you get a gig ever whenever you're off doing wrestling stuff?
All right.
Oh Lord, no! I would have to. See, if we went out of town for wrestling, I would have to watch the kids in the hotel.
Right, yeah, you'd be in with it. Yeah. As the coach.
I can't leave the kids at the hotel and go play a gig at
You
a
guys
bar,
be
no.
cool. I'm gonna go to a bar.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to a fucking bar.
Yeah.
No, those two, I keep those separate.
Yeah.
I'm a professional in both aspects. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm surprised that you just taught yourself finger picking if you know stuff like violin and you're playing mandolin and shit like that. It seems like you
taught myself all those things too.
In my mind, you started like playing some sort of roots rock before you did the punk rock stuff, but probably
I know,
it was
right?
the
It
other
does
way
feel
around.
something like that. Yeah. It
Yeah.
feels like you're going back to it. You know?
Yeah, I went the opposite direction. Yeah, I started with Ramones and New York Dolls and Stooges, and then I think I'm better of a musician now than I was when I was 16, 17. But I try to think of it as since I don't know any of the theory really, like I picked up some theory, just from like listening to people and watching people play, but I try to have an open approach to music, and it's not I can't play that instrument because I only play this instrument.
Mm-hmm.
I try to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if I'm being honest, if you know like a little bit about open tuning, you could probably figure out how to play banjo or whatever. You could at least figure something out on a violin or something like that. I'm not a virtuoso at any of those instruments, but
make it work for what you need.
I can use it. I can use it for a song.
I can play a little bit of ukulele because I bought one so I could go on vacation with something. Like just because it was like,
right.
I wanted to bring a guitar, but it's so fucking big every time you go,
sure.
you bring it anywhere.
Right.
How's it tuned? Like, what's ukulele tuning?
God, I don't know. DG something C or something like that. I can't. Maybe the C's the low, where the low E would be. There's a high note. So
okay.
Yeah, it's
so the bottom note is high. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. But and if you do the D shape, it's a G, and so it's like all the chords are different. So it's like you have to put your mind into
the shapes
ukulele.
are weird on a mandolin. I played it for a little bit, but the only one I had was my dad's, and he was left-handed, so I had to learn mandolin, but left-handed on a right hand with fucking odd
upside
chords
down.
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
if you don't know any better,
exactly. That's
just
what I figured.
Figure
it's
it
like
out by
fucking,
ear, right?
And I'm just here to fuck with it. So who gives a shit? I'm not playing fucking Fleetwood Mac on the motherfucker.
I always seem like whenever I pick up a mandolin, I start playing that. There's some song by the Beatles that it seems like it comes out right away whenever I'm playing it.
Oh shit, I don't know
right now. Regardless,
I like to think of some of the Led Zeppelin's folkier stuff. John Paul Jones plays mandolin. My favorite mandolinist is John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a bluegrass purist at all or anything like
Right.
that.
No. I
Do you find yourself gravitating toward music like that now that you're playing it, or
Sure. Well, I mean,
or is that what brought you there?
I always have, I did grow up listening to classic rock and stuff like that before I got into punk, but I've always been listening to folk music too. I got into Bob Dylan when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
The early Bob Dylan is what I preferred.
some John Prine.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
I didn't come into him probably till, I think honestly when I lived in Mississippi. I met a lot of people that were into him.
I got into it when my father-in-law kind of introduced it when we started playing together. I didn't fucking no idea.
My wife actually introduced me to him, and that was somewhere around 2006 as well.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think a bunch of people were going to like Bonnaroo and mixing that with like some of the older songwriters and stuff like that too. Or the same crowds were getting into that kind of music as well.
Bonnaroo was when I
Southern
first saw-
hippies.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw Bela Fleck for the first time on a Bonnaroo tape. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I've only heard a couple of his songs, but it's like Van
only a
Halen
couple.
on a...
It's insane.
he's
on a
a
fucking banjo.
virtuoso,
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. He's a fucking monster.
So do you play banjo as well? Or do you have all these roots instruments at your house now?
I don't have a banjo. I do have a 3-string cigar box guitar,
Nice.
which
That's
would
cool.
be closest to a banjo that I have.
Somebody made it for you?
Somebody made it and gave it to me.
Nice.
Yeah, it is an actual cigar box. Right. It has a built-in pickup, though. That's probably the most appealing part.
Did you post it on? I feel like
for
I've
a while
yeah.
I was posting
I saw a
videos
picture
of the cigar box guitar. Yeah.
This is my favorite thing.
It was my favorite thing.
Real,
yeah,
like
it was my favorite thing for
yeah.
a while. You know, I'm not as virtuoso enough to like have that be my main instrument. You know?
Right.
There's a cigar box guitar festival in New Orleans every year. And
I've seen Billy Gibbons rip on a 3-string cigar box guitar.
Oh shit!
Wow.
So like, I mean,
he is Billy Gibbons.
Yeah,
right,
he is. But I can imagine if there's just like a whole festival dedicated to this. There's some like real
there
awesome
is.
3-string players out there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And I play with a slide. I find that this instrument it sounds better with a slide than if I'm trying to fret it.
This is the cigar box.
Yeah, and it is fretless, but it has lines drawn where the frets would
right.
be. So yeah, playing it with a slide is ideal for me.
Yeah,
and that's the way I've been able to get the best sound out of it.
Right.
But yeah, so the other closest thing I have to the banjo would be the mandotar, which isn't it's not tuned like a mandolin.
Right.
Actually,
doesn't it have a longer neck to it.
It's a guitar.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Okay. Then
Tiesco
yes.
kind of
It's a guitar that was converted.
Yeah. Yeah.
By my friend Kyle Lapointe, he was the bass player in Scarecrow Sonic Boombox. With me. He's an engineer, and like while he was in the band with me, he was getting his engineering degree.
Right.
But yeah, he's an engineer, and he has that know-how. He knows how to 3D print things, like design things on AutoCAD and 3D print them, and that's the way that he was able to convert these guitars to mandotars. So the nut and the bridge are set up so that it's single string, double string. And then he tunes his differently from me, but I do mine G, D, G, G, D, D. So it's an open chord.
Right.
And then I have the ability to make it sound like a mandolin or banjo on the treble strings, and then it sounds more like a guitar on the bass strings.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, I like that shit though. That's you get a lot of cooler sounds and maybe like a little backing rhythm basically behind it. Yeah.
You get a drone. Yeah, definitely get a drone. And then you can play it hard, the way you would in a punk band. So
right,
that was an easy transition for me.
I think that was kind of why I started doing a lot of when I started playing in bands, I was still playing the acoustic because when I was writing songs, I was using the low end to make a bass note happen while I'm trying to fuck around on the top end of shit. And then we're just going to keep doing this, even with the bass.
Yeah, I find it's always easier to write on a guitar, on an acoustic to me, because I feel like you're almost making, like we were talking earlier, you're almost making the drum track with your percussion, with your strumming hand.
I find that the songs that I've written on an acoustic hold up the longest.
Yes,
it doesn't
That's
depend.
a good point.
It doesn't depend on like this band or this pedal or having drums or whatever. It's like the song holds up.
Yeah.
It's like a more complete song because in order to be able to pull it off on an acoustic, it has to be a good song.
Yeah.
That's not to knock.
No.
I've definitely written songs on electric guitar, but
right. But you're starting your song from the bones of it.
Yeah.
Instead of taking it down to like
right. Yeah. Like this is the
you
way
know?
it always will be.
Yeah.
Is it stronger bones? Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
It's less reliant on technology, or
their bones are our money.
But yeah. So I have, for most of my life, written songs on acoustic guitar, though not exclusively. But yeah, I do find that a song that you wrote on an acoustic has more staying power.
Yeah. I write fucking bass songs on the acoustic. Write it on the acoustic guitar and then figure out how I'm doing it on the bass. And that's just how that is now.
Do you play organ as well, or? I heard that on some of your earlier recordings on SoundCloud.
Same
Not
thing.
on SoundCloud, Bandcamp.
Yeah, same thing. Faking it.
Right. Yeah.
I can figure out enough to like do something with it, but no, I can't sit down like
Right.
What kind of organ is that?
That actually, I'll give another friend a shout out.
Hell yeah.
Some years ago, when I was working at a summer camp in my neighborhood, I was doing a music unit. So I would do this music unit every summer with the kids, and we would record an album. You know, the kids would write songs, and we would record them. I would bring my digital 4-track.
Like a fucking School of Rock kind of thing going on.
Kind of, yeah.
Not to downplay it, but yeah.
Yeah, the kids would write songs, and they would record them. And I put out a call, hey, if anybody's getting rid of instruments, you know, I'm teaching at summer camp. People donated guitars and stuff, you know, percussion, stuff like that. But my friend Kevin Camarda from, he's got a project called the Self-Help Tapes, and he used to be in Community, and I guess still is in Community because they reunited. He had this organ at home, and he said, you know, like y'all to use it and have it. And when camp was over, you know, I took it home, and I still have it. It's an electric organ. And it kind of has an accordion quality to it, honestly, because I guess whatever bellows are inside of it, it's kind of just like an electric version of an accordion, you know, the way the bellows work. And it has that resonance to it, too. So
does it have a fucking thing you gotta
it does,
go with?
Yeah. That part doesn't work anymore.
Okay, so it's just, it does its thing no matter what. Yeah.
It also has like chords on it, where you press this button, it automatically makes a chord.
Oh shit! Okay.
So if you were to do that and get the chord going, then you could play
your lead
a melody.
On top.
Yeah, a melody on top. So some of the songs that I used it on are more of a kind of a Cajun vibe.
Yeah.
You know, since I don't have virtuosity on the accordion, I was able to kind of fake it using this organ. You know.
I've always wanted to get an accordion to see if like me
Really?
faking it would sound anything like it's supposed to, you know.
Probably not.
There's
it's like how
a sophistication to it.
There really is.
Like the in and out, you know, the.
It's funny
it
because
feels like if I could just play 4 chords, I would be happy. Just sitting there,
right.
like I could relax playing the accordion. I'm not sure.
So funny. I swear to God, like a week and a half ago, I was watching this like amazing accordion player. It just popped up on YouTube, and it had like 9 million views. I'm like, let me watch this, and it's like classical music. One guy on an accordion. I was like, what the fuck is this, man?
Dude, I
It's
think
note
I
for
saw-
note, great.
I'm
Like,
pretty sure I saw a guy who was playing blues on an accordion one time.
I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
I mean, that's just one step away from Zydeco.
Yeah, right.
You know?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Like,
Clifton Chenier, you know, that's basically accordion blues, you know.
Right.
I'm definitely down with that too, you know. I've whenever I play with Alex, an interesting thing, he's from Houma.
Yeah.
And he plays the accordion, but he doesn't play it in a Cajun style. I guess it's because he's self-taught too, you know.
Right.
He's kind of an intuitive musician. But we can play stuff that is Louisiana roots oriented, you know, like we've played, I don't know, some, you know, Fats Domino kind of stuff, and it does come out sounding like swamp pop.
Right.
Even though he's not going to be, you know,
Going to town like that on it. Yeah.
well, yeah, he's not going to pretend that he's a Zydeco artist.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's more just, you know, it comes out sounding a certain way, and it's more natural that way. You know?
I like that.
Do you think this is the direction you're going to stay in now, as far as like where you've been with the newest album?
Well, I'll say I'm real happy with what's been happening. You know, the gigs that I've been able to get. You know, I've been playing festivals.
It's
and
been
stuff
yeah,
like that,
I noticed.
You know?
Yeah,
I've been playing like, you know, Baton Rouge Blues Festival. You know, Mississippi Songwriter Festival. You know, I'm going out of town. I'm getting invited to these places. And
did you do that Ozone thing?
Yeah,
recently?
I
Nice.
did Ozone the last 2 years. And
Was it fucking? Was
Guy
it
from
Colin Oates was up
Oates.
there? Yeah, Oates. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oates himself,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't get to meet Oates, but the guy that I played with, because they do a songwriter round
Yeah.
style where like you are on the stage with these other people. He met Oates the day before, and I was like, "Tell me
shit.
about Oates."
Right.
And apparently Oates is really nice.
Yeah.
Right,
So
yeah.
it seemed like he was a nice guy.
Yeah, Oates will not break your heart. Oates will actually take the time to talk to you. Apparently,
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Do you know? I wish I knew. It was Brian from the Green Mantles.
I saw him there.
Yeah, he was out there this year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So he did a round with one of my friends. Yeah.
Right.
So I saw his set.
Nice.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, killer.
I'd done a show with Green Mantles years ago.
I'm sure,
With I think it was even in somewhere in Mississippi, like, you know, if it wasn't Pascagoula or Ocean Springs.
Oh, they
but-
played Thunders a lot in Pascagoula. I
Yeah.
remember that shit.
Oh
So I think we picked up a show up there.
I'll have to think of where it was. But yeah, I remember playing with Green Mantle a long time ago. But yeah, I actually did happen to see a set. I was like, oh, I know that guy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you were saying, it's like, maybe he does fucking know this guy.
What was the Blues Fest like?
Oh.
That's actually pretty cool. Let's see. Actually, so I'll tell you this. This amazing Delta blues artist, his name is R.L. Boyce. I got to meet him and see him, and his set was a revelation.
Shit.
And then he died like 3 months later.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like
Holy shit.
he must have been, in the process of dying of cancer.
Right, yeah, clearly.
And he was sitting down when he played, and he's somewhat elderly, but real powerful set. I happen to recognize Lightning Malcolm, who he was playing with. So I was like, oh, that's like, oh. And it was like, and I couldn't resist. I went over and introduced myself.
Right.
And, They were nice. I talked to them for a little bit. And then I went and did my set, and then I came back and caught the end of theirs. But yeah, that was great getting to meet somebody that's, really a legend if you're into that kind of music. If you're into like hill country blues and stuff like that. It was great to see him and to meet him.
I didn't get to meet him, but I got to see Gatemouth Brown.
Oh, wow.
Not too long before he passed.
Nice.
In Hammond. He was playing one of those shows. He went up there and just ripped, man. It was amazing because from what I understand, he doesn't play at all until he goes on stage.
Oh, wow.
So,
he doesn't rehearse?
He doesn't rehearse.
Oh, shit, I
doesn't
didn't
do
know that.
anything. Just grabs his crazy guitar he had and just ripped. And he was just an awesome showman. It was cool to see somebody I'd read about in guitar books for so long, finally, you know what I mean? So I can see what you're talking about. I didn't get to meet him even, but I know what you mean, getting to see a legend.
Right,
At that point, or just right before they pass. It's kind of cool.
And then a few times I've missed out on seeing somebody, and then they pass away. I'm like, I'll never be able to see him,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw Snooks Eaglin one time at Rock and Roll of all places.
Right.
And I was probably 18, I was still pretty young, and I think I just went there by myself because thinking about the gig, I don't remember hanging out with anybody. I usually can remember who I was at a gig with, and I can't remember being with anybody else. But he's a legend too, and I feel lucky to have seen him because he died probably not too long after that as well.
Right.
And he was playing with just a trio with him and a bass player and a drummer.
No hiding.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's just playing guitar and singing, power trio. Nice. And he could pull off New Orleans R&B classics and make it sound just like it did on the radio. Like,
fuck yeah.
I clearly remember he played A Certain Girl by Ernie Cato, and it sounded just like on the radio, just like you'd hear on WTIX, and his voice sounded just like Cato, and there was no piano on the stage, but somehow he pulled off the entire song. With,
Shit,
just electric guitar and stand-up bass and drums.
Fuck, I haven't heard WTIX said in a while. Is that even still a fucking radio station?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Jesus.
That's my morning commute.
Is it?
Listen
Okay,
to
yeah.
Did you ever hear Don Vappy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him one night at some, I can't remember, there's a jazz club at the bottom of some hotel in New Orleans my wife and me went to. But we saw him play in a 3-piece, piano, stand-up bass, and just guitar, no drums. And it was fucking awesome, man. I was just sitting there like in awe of this guy.
Right.
And I'd never heard of him before. And everybody I've talked to since has heard of this guy. But
yeah, I guess, he's probably not a household name in the rest of America.
No, I've never heard that fucking name before.
But he's the kind of guy who probably also has a international following, and he
maybe in Europe,
might be bigger in Europe than he is in the United States.
Yeah. My cousin's in a jazz band over in Europe, and I still don't think it's well attended over there. Okay, maybe we have a new starting point.
Well, so actually, I found something out. I've stayed in touch with Eric's parents. They're sweet people. They had recently donated to a skate park and a BMX park out in in Lafayette.
Okay.
And there's a plaque with some
Dedicated to it?
donors,
Yeah.
and it's like special thanks to Eric Bonney.
Fuck yeah! All
So
right.
yeah, I got to make it out there. I've been wanting to try to play
shit.
Lafayette, and
I like playing out there.
obviously, I play some Louisiana Cajun Creole music, so
Right.
that would go
Good.
over well too.
All right.
Yeah, I got to go out there and check out the skate park.
No
The
shit.
guy that started the skate park spoke at his at Eric's memorial service that
okay.
we all went to.
So he's tied into it for sure. Then.
Yeah, so that was probably Eric's biggest passion besides music was BMX.
Okay.
Yeah, he would ride every day. He would go off with some friends and like find kind of like a good spot. He was always like looking for a good spot to do some tricks on and stuff like that. So that was pretty touching to see that his parents
That's fucking
donated
great. Yeah,
for
right.
there to be another skate park in Louisiana.
his name immortalized into it. You
Yeah.
know. Yeah. Fucking right.
Yeah, great guy. I miss him.
Right.
I finally remembered what I was going to ask you a minute ago. I was going to ask you, how did you end up teaching English?
Well, I kind of always wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
I went to Jefferson Parish Public Schools when I was little, and I did have some good teachers, but I also had a lot of bad teachers.
Right.
People who would literally leave us alone in the classroom and then go shopping at Eckerd next door.
Fucking Eckerd.
Yeah, a lot of. And this was old school too, so a lot of teachers got most of their stuff done by yelling.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
Yelling is their default setting and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
I've had
I would
teachers
always
like that.
kind of think like, when I grow up, I'm gonna do this better than them.
Hell yeah.
And I went to college. Went to college for free, and
Nice.
I was not a great student. I was more interested in partying, and playing rock and roll. That's what
Right.
I did when I was 18, 19, 20. I just partied a lot and played rock and roll, and didn't go to class and stuff like that. And I got to the point where I was like, what do I miss doing? And I missed reading and writing. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should be an English major. So, my last couple of years of college, I took all English classes because I'd done all my prereqs.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah. So I got to just take English classes, and I really got into it, especially like medieval literature. That was my specialty.
Little Canterbury kind of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beowulf.
Yeah,
Sir
okay.
Gawain and the Green Knight, medieval romances.
I still haven't. Have you seen the movie The Green Knight?
I know the poem so
Right,
well.
yeah, right.
Like
It's not. I haven't made it all the way through. It's a very
I
slow
almost
movie.
can't bring myself to see it.
Right.
But I should watch it.
I enjoyed the parts that I saw, and I think the guy who is in the new Jordan Peele Monkey Man, he's the main character for it. But I really like the concept because it had the Beowulf feel to it. The whole just the story of it, and I never heard it. I didn't realize that it was a medieval story until I saw the movie and started looking it up.
No, I know it very well.
Yeah.
I read it in Middle English many times.
Right.
And taught it as well.
Tolkien guy then?
What's that?
Lord of the Rings
Sure,
guy?
sure. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not.
I read
I'm
a
just
lot
saying,
of-
like, it seems like that would maybe.
Yeah, I read a lot of Hobbit and Lord of the Rings
Right,
when I was younger as well. But yeah, so I went to grad school, got my master's degree in English too. But yeah, I've been teaching since I was 21. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Really?
Okay.
'cause
Wow.
I started
You didn't
teaching.
fuck off that long.
I know, right? Shit.
Well, I mean, I was.
Teaching while you had getting the
Yeah.
masters or after the
Yeah,
masters?
yeah, when I was still
Yeah.
getting the masters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was expecting like there'd be like
I thought there was going to be
there's
like a
long period of
gap.
screwing
Yeah,
off,
for
and
sure.
then, like,
Yeah.
you finally
No.
went back.
There was some concurrent screwing off with
Right. Yeah.
with the career as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those things can happen concurrently.
Yeah,
yes,
that's
they
true.
can.
And what about the wrestling?
I was
Yeah,
a
right.
wrestler in high school. I was
Okay.
New Orleans City champion.
Oh shit!
Really?
There
Yeah.
you go.
We didn't
Fuck.
know we were sitting amongst
I know.
wrestling
Fucking
champions.
royalty.
I mean,
Yeah, tie us up like a pretzel outside.
I definitely,
Don't tempt me with a good time. God.
I wasn't the best wrestler in the world or anything like that.
Sounds
but,
like
you
your
know.
best
Just
one
city
in New
champ,
Orleans.
whatever. Yeah, right.
But I was pretty serious about it when I was in high school. So
Say with cross country kind of thing.
Well, my main sport was wrestling, and then
Okay,
I
yeah.
did a little bit of rugby too. But we always did run. You know, my coach
Right.
was serious about running.
Right.
as
Yeah,
training
yeah.
For wrestling.
Stamina. Run.
But you know, as an educator, basically, if you're an able-bodied male and you
Uh-huh.
teach at a school, they're going to ask you to coach a sport.
Yeah.
And then that became part of the career too. You know, this is my 12th year coaching wrestling.
Nice.
You know,
I always assumed it went the other way around. Like the coach wanted to coach, and then
They get
just
sucked
had
into
to-
teaching
had to
positions.
teach
That is a thing,
Right.
definitely. You know,
Because
where
that's what
they'll
it looked like at our school.
Yeah,
they-
my health teacher,
they'll give the
sex ed
coach
teacher
some.
was always that.
Yeah, they'll give the coach
Mhm.
a class that he can teach.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did not.
That's
give
a thing
shit
for
about
sure.
The class.
My
and just
health
came in
class
there,
was
talked about
trash.
football the whole time, and that was it.
Very
That's
stereotypical.
A
Yes.
classic teacher, of course.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
We've all had that teacher.
It's that trope, yeah, for sure. But yeah, that happened.
But yeah, I came at it from the other way. Yeah,
Right.
I came at it from the other way.
I'm actually here for writing.
Let's talk poetry.
Right, yeah.
And then
I'll slam you on the
slam
fucking
each other
ground.
on the mat. Yeah.
That's interesting.
That does not sound bad though.
So whenever there's a student fight, do you have to break them up?
At our school, there's very rarely a real
like that.
fight.
I like that.
I
Shit.
feel like I almost wish they knew how to fight. You know,
These poor guys.
You said you're in Jefferson Parish?
But I'd be happy to get them. You know, if I have a couple of times seen people fighting, and it's like, hey, look, if you really want to do this, you know, come to
through.
wrestling practice.
You
after
fucking
school.
get it done, yeah.
You know, let's do something productive with this.
Yeah, no shit.
Aggression. Yeah.
What college did you go to?
Tulane and UNO.
Nice.
Nice.
I went to UNO and I'm trying to get into Tulane for a master's as well.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
fucking right.
Okay, both good
Shit.
schools. I can vouch for them.
Yeah, I like Tulane. I got the bachelor's out of that bitch. You know, it worked
Yeah,
out
sounds
just fine. It was cheaper than most schools, that's for sure. you
Cheap
know?
for me.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Fuck.
Lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. I went to Delgado and then went to UNO, and it was just kind of like double the price, but not comparative to like Tulane. You know, fucking
Sure.
Jesus. Was that like? I think it's $23,000 a semester right now.
Oh,
I
I'm
thought
sure
it was
it's
27.
Sure, it's
It might be
ungodly,
that, yeah. Well,
I don't
I
even wanna
looked up
think
the
about it.
accelerated masters, and they're like, "Oh, it's only $14,000, which is $10,000 less than a regular shit, but
Yeah.
you have to take 15 credits a fucking semester." It's like, that's a fucking lot, man. That's a fucking lot.
What's so the future is to continue recording more or less the way you're doing now?
Yeah.
You thinking about adding a band behind you, or if
I've
it comes
thought
around,
about
yeah,
it.
but not really
Definitely,
looking for it.
has to be natural.
I was
know,
gonna say
like,
organic. Yeah,
I don't want to.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm not in a rush to force a band to happen. You know, like
Play enough gigs, people are gonna want to play with you.
anytime I've ever tried to force a band to happen, it backfired. you
Right?
know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But you know, I'm doing so well by myself. You know, I'm playing a lot and I'm enjoying the gigs.
Yeah.
I'm making a little bit extra money, and you know.
Nice.
Obviously, nobody got into either punk or into folk music to make money.
Right.
But
No.
for me, you know, I got mouths to feed at home, and
Right.
making a little bit extra money helps us out.
Very nice.
Sometimes I'll take the money from the tip bucket and I'll stop at Winn-Dixie on the way home and I'll buy groceries for the week. Like,
Yes.
hey, you know, this is nice that I can
Yeah.
provide for the family with playing a gig.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's very nice that shit. I do cover a bunch of cover bands. It's nice to be like, here's some money. Like,
Sure.
this means, like, we're splitting this, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
My wife just sees money go away. And ours, I don't actually bring money home. We try and put everything toward the band since recording costs so much.
Right, yeah.
Which is that's what I always did when I was a band too. The funny thing is, like, I make more as a solo artist, and it's not just because I don't have to split the money. It's because, for whatever reason, people are willing to
It's more accessible.
pay a solo folk artist more money than people are willing to pay a punk band.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
That's 100%. And, like,
Well, usually, like, we're playing like 30-minute gigs for the most part. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I mean, how long do you end up playing a gig typically?
I will sometimes play a 3-hour gig. You know, That's pretty common. You know, I play a lot of farmers markets these days,
Right,
and you know, it will be a 3-hour gig.
I did
and,
a few of those.
A lot of
Eating
them.
some vegetables too, probably.
What the vendors are nice about
I was
giving
about
you
to say
discounts
that,
and
yes.
stuff like that. Yeah.
At the very end, when we played the Covington Farmers Market, at the very end, some of the people that were cooking fresh food would come up, and, like, I'd get tomatoes
Sure.
or, like, a fucking
And
hot breakfast.
I always
like,
try to support those people too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when I play that kind of gig, I'm thinking I'm providing the entertainment for these people to make
have
their,
business
make their
around.
living.
Yeah. I do this shit. I'll take the tip money and try to buy
Mhm.
something from them, you know? They had some guy out there that made amazing hummus. I was like, oh, yeah, please fucking help me out with
Another benefit of that gig is easy access to fresh vegetables and homemade
that. For sure.
homemade food items and things like
So
that.
good. Speaking on that, you
but yeah.
do the fucking urban gardening, huh? Like,
Sure, yeah. That's another battle that I have with the parish.
is it? Are they fucking giving you shit about growing food?
Yeah, I think if my lawn was just a green rectangle, they would like me.
Yeah.
But instead, I have watermelon and sugarcane, and they don't like that.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, they'll post the pink violation slip on my door from time to time, and I'll say, I've called the people and talked to them and said, hey, these aren't weeds. That's a watermelon.
It's real food that I'm going to eat.
Yeah, these are purple hull peas, and
Right.
that's sugarcane over there.
You doubled my property tax. I need this food.
They're usually reasonable when you talk to them,
Right.
But then some time will go by and you'll get another violation.
Of course,
on the door. I'm like,
yeah.
well, I guess
The
we're
fucking
back
Nancy
back
dudes
to
that are
square
out
one.
there. Yeah. You the fucking nosy Nancy out there.
Yeah.
Fuck your shit up.
Well, I guess we're coming to the end. So
Yeah.
why don't you
fucking,
this is going to be our Thanksgiving episode. So, is there anything you'd like to plug before we?
Yeah, you got some
close
shows
out?
coming up?
Sure. Well, early in December. All right. Well, I'm gonna play December 14th at the No Name Cafe
There you go.
on St. Claude. That's gonna be like a local music showcase.
Nice.
Benefiting mental health services for
nice.
local musicians.
Hell yeah.
And that's actually sponsored by the Jazz Fest Foundation, New Orleans
Wow.
Jazz and Heritage Foundation. So that's December 14th at No Name Cafe. I'll be playing with, there's going to be, I think, 4 other artists besides me. Then the next weekend, December 21st, I'm playing at Morning Call, which is a gig that I did a few months ago. It was actually pretty cool. Have you been in a new one?
No,
I
it's not the place in City Park, right?
So
that's
they were
gone now.
They were at City Park,
Right.
and then they got kind of like they had an ouster where Cafe Du Monde took
I was gonna
over.
say they fucking shoved them out.
kind of an aggressive ouster.
They
but
most
then,
certainly did. Yeah.
But they have a nice new building on the corner of Canal Boulevard and City Park Avenue.
Oh,
And
okay.
It's a
Shit.
Morning Call and then a Bud's Broiler right next to it. And then the Morning Call, it looks just like the old one. They got the arch, and
Yeah.
they got the lights, and they got the window. It's nice and clean. Obviously, you got the beignets and the Cafe au lait. They also have gumbo and stuff like that, and beer,
Okay.
beer and wine
Oh
too.
shit.
if
Okay.
you're
That's a
interested
whole
in that.
fucking thing.
But yeah, I played there, I guess a few months ago, and it was a cool gig.
Is that like an early gig for you? If you do that, like a midday kind of thing?
No,
or-
it'll be an evening gig.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, probably from like 7 to 10 or something like
Nice.
that. I think that's what I
Nice.
did last time. But yeah, I like playing a gig like that because everybody can come.
Right.
It's free, so you can just show up and you can stay as long as you want. You can chill.
You get free coffee?
Yeah, that.
Fuck yeah.
I definitely drank. At
Too
least,
much coffee.
I drank at least 3 Cafe au laits throughout
Uh-huh.
the course. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're sweet over there. They'll take care of you.
Nice.
And then I got some other stuff. I guess in January I'm gonna host at Old Araby Lighthouse, which is
Okay.
it's a bookstore and a record store that does music events and poetry readings. But I've hosted the open mic there a couple times, and I play there pretty regularly.
Yeah.
For it's a good community of songwriters and local musicians. Just it's a good place to sit down and watch a whole bunch of local artists for free.
I like that.
But I'll be hosting. Like I'll play a set at 6
So
to
that's
7, and then the open mic starts at 7.
Mm.
And yeah, it's in Araby, which when you tell people I'm playing in Araby, they're like, "Oh, well, good luck."
No,
but it's not.
no.
Yeah, I mean, it's like really not that far from the Saturn Bar.
My buddy plays at the Old Araby Bar a lot. Kills it out there.
Sure.
In fact, he has a shirt that I want badly. It's got the Atari symbol, but it just says Araby right
yes.
underneath it.
Oh, nice.
Fuck,
I've seen
I
that.
need that badly.
That's right up my alley too.
Right? Yeah, I'll fuck with that.
But yeah, so I got that going on. I'm sure I'll be doing other stuff too. But
Hell yeah.
I'll stay busy.
We're going to
It's-
plug all your shit on here. So everybody look up Hex Windham. He'll be on all the social stuff. He's got a lot of fucking music out. Go check him out.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for fucking being on
thanks
here,
so
man.
much, man.
Yeah.
I love the new album so
Yes.
much. And
Well, great hanging out with y'all.
Yeah.
good playing with y'all. What was that? A couple months ago, right?
Yes. Yeah, the Saturn Bar. That was a great
That was
show.
our first time playing at the Saturn Bar.
Yes.
In general.
Like ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
See, I used to play there a whole lot, and that
I've
was my
been
first
there.
time playing there with the new ownership. And I was pleasantly surprised. It still felt like the Saturn Bar.
It did. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It was cleaner for sure.
That's for sure. That upstairs seemed a lot sturdier. The balcony area seemed a lot sturdier.
Yeah, but I had a good time there that night.
That was a good one. That was a great night.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on, man, and thanks for watching.
If I could mom and them.
Huh. Did that happen, or was that a little off? All right. Oh shit! What was that? Can't even fucking high five myself. There we go. Yeah, in front of Hex and all.
That's gonna be a clip right there.
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing. Fucking sad.